Hello and welcome to episode 612 of the Our Lady of Fatima podcast. It is my pleasure to be with you this evening. My name is Terrence M. Stanton. We're recording on the first Saturday of the month, August 5th, 2023, in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ. I hope you're able to make or are in the process of making the first Saturday devotions. Let's take a look from the book The Glories of Mary by St. Alphonsus Liguori, the Saturday prayer to the Most Blessed Virgin Mary to obtain her patronage. My most holy mother, I see the graces which thou hast obtained for me, and I see the ingratitude of which I have been guilty towards thee. An ungrateful soul is no longer worthy of favors, but I will not on this account distrust thy mercy, which is greater than my ingratitude. O my great advocate, pity me. Thou dispensest all the graces which God grants to us miserable creatures, and for this purpose he has made thee so powerful, so rich, and so benign. He has done so, that thou mightest succor us in our miseries. Ah, Mother of mercy, leave me not in my poverty. Thou art the advocate of the most miserable, and guilty criminals who have recourse to thee. Defend me also, who recommend myself to thee. Say not that my cause is too difficult to be gained, for all causes, however desperate, when defended by thee, are gained. In thy hands, then, do I place my eternal salvation. In thee do I entrust my soul. It was lost. Thou then by thy intercession hast to save it. I wish to be inscribed amongst thy most devoted servants. Reject me not. Thou seekest the miserable to relieve them. Abandon me not, who am a wretched sinner, and who have recourse to thee. Speak for me, thy Son does all that thou askest him. Take me under thy protection. That is all that I ask. Yes, if thou protectest me, I fear nothing. I do not fear my sins, for thou wilt obtain me a remedy for the evil they have done me. I do not fear the devils, for thou art more powerful than all hell. I do not even fear Jesus, my judge himself, for by a single prayer of thine he is appeased. I only fear that by my negligence I may cease to recommend myself to thee, and thus be lost. It is true that these graces are too great for me, who have not deserved them, but they are not too great for thee, who art so much loved by God. Hence, he grants thee all that thou askest. Thou hast only to speak, and he denies thee nothing. Pray, then, to Jesus for me. Tell him that thou protectest me, and then he is sure to pity me. My mother, in thee do I trust. In this hope I shall live in peace, and in it I wish to die. Live, Jesus, our love, and Mary, our hope. I'm going to start today, friends, by taking a look at an article from Roman-Catholic-Saints.com entitled Our Lady of the Snows. August 5th, Our Lady of the Snows. Improbable as it is for snow to fall during August, history tells us of a snowfall that seemed more impossible, namely in Rome, Italy. August 5, 352, snow fell during the night in Rome. There lived in the Eternal City a nobleman, John, and his childless wife, who had been blessed with much of the world's goods. They chose the Mother of God as the heir to their fortune, and at the suggestion of Pope Liberius, prayed that she might make known to them how to do this by a particular sign. In answer, the Virgin Mother, during the night of August 5, appeared to John and his wife, and also to the Holy Father, Pope Liberius, directing them to build a church in her honor on the crown of the Esquiline Hill. And what would be the sign that John and his wife had requested? Snow will cover the crest of the hill. Snow rarely falls in Rome, but the flakes fell silently during that night, blanketing the peak of the historic hill. In the morning, the news quickly spread, and crowds gathered to throng upon the hill and behold the white splendor. The snow had fallen in a particular pattern, showing the outline of the future church. When it became known that the snow was a sign from Mary, the people spontaneously added another to her long list of titles, Our Lady of the Snows. The church built there is now known as St. Mary Major. It is the focal point of devotion for many of Mary's millions of children, one of the most popular churches in the world. There Mary has been pleased to secure various and many blessings, as numerous and varied as the flakes of snow that fell that August night. The church built by John and his wife in honor of Our Lady of the Snows, restored and enlarged at various times, was known by different names. The Basilica of Liberius, St. Mary of the Crib, because it enshrines relics of Christ's crib, Lastly, St. Mary Major, to distinguish it from the many other Roman churches dedicated to the Mother of God. Major means greater. There is an image revered as Our Lady of the Snows, which is believed to have been produced by St. Luke the Apostle. St. Mary Major is one of the 4 basilicas in which the pilgrims to Rome must pray in order to gain the indulgences of the Holy Year. Most fitting do we call Mary Our Lady of the Snows. The white blanket of that August night symbolizes Mary pure as the driven snow, her blessings and graces numerous and varied as the falling snowflakes. Science tells us that every snowflake is different in form and makeup. Size, outline, structure, ornamentation are all without limit, infinite in wondrous beauty, startling complexity, perfect symmetry as they fleet, dancing down from the sky. What a wonderful figure of the blessings Mary obtains for us. Snow changes the face of the earth, painting even a field of mud with a white coat. The grace of God won through prayer to Mary also changes the face of the earth. Snow preserves the heat of the earth, protects vegetation, supplies moisture with slow effectiveness. Grace serves similar purposes. It preserves the warmth of God's love in our hearts. It protects the soul from the chill of temptation and sin. It nourishes the soul with new life. We see a further symbolism in this feast. There are millions living in lands of ice and snow who have not come to the knowledge of Mary and her divine Son. We might ask that with the actual snowflakes, she showered down upon them the graces of the true faith. In particular, may that land where snow falls long and heavily, Russia, come to share in a fall of graces through prayer to her whom we honor on August 5th as Our Lady of the Snows. And so ends the article. I went to confession today, friends, with it being the first Saturday of the month, and God bless the priest who was there. There are 2 priests at this parish, and one of them was officiating at a quinceañera ceremony, and they had a mass. I'd never seen one before, but evidently in Mexican culture as well as other places, I believe in Central America, it's customary that when a young lady turns 15, there's a big celebration and a mass that goes along with it. And she was wearing a very beautiful white dress, which had blue at the bottom, I assume in honor of Our Lady. It's a very beautiful ceremony. I'd like to have it as a traditional Latin mass instead of the Novus Ordo in Spanish, but we'll work on that. So that was lovely. And there are 2 priests in the parish, as I said. One was officiating, and the other priest was hearing confessions. And God bless him, this man heard confessions for about 2.5 hours. I was one of the last ones to have his confession heard, along with my father, who was there with me. And then after that, and they have the mass, and afterwards a whole bunch of other people come in, and I was wondering what was going on at this point, and I noticed, well, they're all dressed in black, and then the casket comes in soon after. So there was a funeral. So we had confessions going on for 2.5 hours. We had a quinceañera, and we had a funeral. So it was quite an interesting day on this Our Lady of the Snows, and it kind of shows you the circle of life, you might say, as well as the different seasons in the church, a time for celebration and also a time for mourning, and a time of remembrance, and a time for penance as well. And also on this August 5th, I'm remembering the 95th anniversary of my late great maternal grandfather, Chester Michael Lolito, who was born on August 5th, 1928. And he passed away in 2008, a few months short of what would have been his 80th birthday. And he was one of the most kind, loyal, sincere, honest, and hardworking human beings I've ever met in my life. A true gentleman in every sense of the word. Very gentle with his family and with his friends, but also fiercely protective of his family and his friends. He was a hunter, a fisherman. He worked in a steel mill for about 35 years. Before that, he was in the United States Navy. He signed up, in fact, with his father's permission, my late great-grandfather. Evidently, they went to City Hall, must have been either Lackawanna or Buffalo, New York at the time. Just as he turned 17, which would have been in 1945. And this was right around the time that, unfortunately, the atomic bombs were being dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But with his father's permission, he signed up for the Navy at the age of 17. Thank goodness he didn't have to fight in World War II. That was coming to an end in a very tragic and horrific circumstances, of course. He served at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and had a lot of fond stories about friends he made in the Navy. Just a salt of the earth kind of guy, totally dedicated to my Nana. May they both rest in peace. They were married for probably close to 60 years. And my mom and my uncle and their grandchildren, myself and my sister. And I was very blessed that my Nana had passed away, but my Papa was able to hold his great-grandchildren, his great-granddaughters when they were babies. And the pictures I have of him are, you can't put a value on it. I cherish those pictures probably more than any photographs that are in my collection. So please say a prayer today for the repose of the soul of Chester Michael Alito, one of the best human beings I've ever met or will ever meet. Eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon him. May his soul and the souls of all the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. Amen. In conclusion, friends, we're going to mention helping autism through learning and outreach, available on the web at halo-soma.org. That's halo-soma.org. Please also tune in and spread far and wide to your family and friends episodes 277 and 548. That's 277 and 548 of the Our Lady of Fatima podcast, in which I discuss and a gentleman from Word on Fire discusses in interview format RPM with my sister and my niece. RPM is an acronym for Rapid Prompting Method, a system of communication for non-speakers, just as sign language was a revolutionary breakthrough in terms of being able to communicate for the deaf. So RPM has been a revolutionary breakthrough in communication for non-speakers. Imagine for a moment how frustrated you would be if you were unable to tell your family not only what your hopes and dreams are, just have a regular conversation, but like basic stuff, like what you want for breakfast. We didn't even know my niece's favorite color before she was 8 years old. Now, because of RPM and my sister and my brother-in-law and my other spectacular niece's dedication to learning RPM, we know that Brielle is a gifted composer. She's skilled at mathematics. She's working on writing an oratorio right now. She has all sorts of tremendous abilities, and we had no idea that this was the case before RPM. So let's get the word out there, because communication is a human right. So many souls are stuck in this prison of silence right now, and RPM opens up the gate, so to speak, to the prison cell and gets them out of there and into the world of open communication. Thank you so much for listening to this edition of the Our Lady of Fatima podcast. Goodbye, and God love you.